In this video, I want to share with you a simple game plan on how you could go from broke to millionaire. I get it. A lot of people are broke. I started off broke when I was 21 years old. I made a lot of money. I bought over $1 million worth of real estate by the time I was 25. And guess what? I was broke again by the time I was 27. But then I made it all back. And I want to share a 5-step process on how anybody watching this video right now can go from broke to millionaire in a relatively short period of time using 5 key principles. Let's jump into this. Hey, what's up? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. Welcome to another video. Listen, on this channel, what we do is we teach real estate investors and entrepreneurs how to create time and freedom through proven real estate investment strategies. So if you're brand new to my channel, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button if you like what you see in this video. Also, subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I put out tons of content every single month on this channel related to business and real estate and how you can literally create the time and freedom that you want for you and your family. So what I want to do in today's video is really share a simple game plan on how anybody can go from being absolutely broke, maybe even in a negative, to becoming a millionaire in a relatively short period of time. I'm going to share 5 key steps that anybody, if you're willing to put in the time and put in the work, you can become a millionaire. I want you to understand that it's not easy. I want you to understand that it's going to take some work. And I also want you to understand that 99% of the people watching this video, that's not going to do what I tell them to do in this video. Again, most people won't apply, but if you do, it will absolutely change your life. So let's jump into this. All right, so the first thing that you need to do when you're looking to go from broke to becoming a millionaire is create active income. For those of you who don't know what active income is basically actively working toward a paycheck, all right? So for example, wholesaling and rehabbing or working a 9-to-5 would be considered active income. In order for you to change your life, you have to have some type of income coming in. And in order for you to build that income, you have to actively go out there and hustle, all right? So you got to grind it out for a little while, all right? So the first thing is to decide on what you want to do. If you have a job right now, start where you are, and you might have to add additional streams of income like wholesaling or rehabbing houses in order to be able to build up your income in order to speed up the process for yourself. For most of you watching this channel, maybe you're working a 9-to-5 right now. What you really want to do is keep your 9-to-5 while you build your business. Don't ever give up your existing income for hopeful income, right? Let me repeat that. Don't ever give up your existing income for hopeful income. You're hoping to wholesale a house, hoping to build a business, hoping to fix and flip. You don't ever want to do that. So you keep your existing income until your other income supersedes that existing income on a continuous basis. All right. So the first key step is to find active income. Decide on if you want to wholesale houses. Decide on if you want to fix and flip based on where you are in your life right now. And if you have a 9-to-5, add one of those key elements into the equation in addition to your 9-to-5. For most people watching this, you're going to start wholesaling real estate. And if you want to learn more about wholesaling real estate, I got tons of videos on my YouTube page, tons of videos in my wholesaling playlist that you can check it out. And I'm going to make sure I link it up in the cards for you at the top. One thing that I did when I first started in real estate is I started off as a fix and flipper, and I added wholesaling into the equation after the fact. Now, for most people watching this, you're going to start off wholesaling, then you might get into fix and flip in order to be able to grow that income a lot quicker. But start where you are, decide on what you want to do, and then take it from there. Another way to add additional income is through buying businesses. All right, so recently I put in an offer to buy my first laundromat, right? That's additional active, passively active income for me, but it's an additional revenue stream, all right? And actually there's 2 laundromats up for sale, and I'm planning on making an offer on the second one as well. So that's 2 laundromats, a wholesaling business, a fix and flip business, an education business, all kinds of stuff that I have going on. This is all active income. So understand where you are right now and then decide on which key method you're going to implement, which source of active income you're going to implement in order to be able to build up your capital. All right. So that's step number one. Create additional active income or create active income in general. Let's move into step number two. Step number two is to build business credit so that you can stop coming out of your personal slush fund or your personal pockets in order to be able to build your business. If you use leverage, business leverage, you can move a lot quicker to be able to get to where you want to go, which is becoming a millionaire. So step number one is to build active income through setting up or starting a business or purchasing a business. Step number two is to use that business to build up business credit. And what you're going to do with the business credit is use it as seed money to be able to purchase more real estate. So for example, you might get a business credit line of $20,000. With $20,000, after let's say 3 months of starting your business, you can then go out and use that to fix and flip real estate. Most hard money lenders want to see that you have access to some type of capital. There's other lenders, portfolio lenders, that if you have $20,000 in the bank, they'll give you 7 times the money in order to be able to buy real estate. So what you're going to do is use the business line of credit to be able to leverage that money to be able to get more lines to be able to buy real estate and speed up the process for yourself. And the reason why I'm mentioning real estate is because real estate at the end of the day is one of the fastest ways to build wealth. All right. If you want to go from zero to a millionaire relatively quickly, you have to have some type of involvement and some type of investment. We're going to talk about another investment in step number 5. But for right now, keep real estate in your mind, as real estate is one of the fastest ways to become financially free relatively quickly. Now, just to give you an example of how quickly you can become financially free with real estate, let's just say you had that $20,000 on a business credit line. Again, this is something that you can literally accomplish within 3 to 4 months. You can get $20,000, $15, $20, $30, $100,000 within 3 to 4 months. Even if your credit sucks right now, you can get business credit within a relatively short period of time. I got a video up on YouTube where I got $14,000 in business credit within 48 hours. I'll pop it up at the top for you so you can check it out. But again, if you get this business credit line, you can use leverage to be able to do other things with it. Let me give you an example of leverage, right? So let's just say you got $20,000 sitting in the bank. Most hard money lenders, if you have a decent credit score, or if you use your business credit, most hard money lenders with $20,000 in the bank will lend on, let's say, a $150,000 home. Your job is to go out and find discounted real estate. Maybe you look through wholesalers, right? Wholesalers usually have discounted houses up for sale. So you go to a wholesaler, and for that $150,000 property, maybe they're asking 80 grand. You need it at 70 grand. So you get the property for $70,000. You got $20,000. You'll get 100% of the financing plus the rehab money to buy the property, fix it up, and then do what you want to do on the exit from a hard money lender, provided you have the $20,000 sitting in the bank. A hard money lender is going to charge you some points up front. You're going to need some money to pay for closing costs. And in addition to that, you're going to need money to start your rehab. But all of that money can be reimbursed to you. They just want to see that you have it in the bank so that you have liquid funds to be able to operate your business if things slow down, right? So you take the $20,000, you leverage it to get a hard money loan. You get 100% financing for the purchase and the rehab, and then you go ahead, you fix the property up. Let's say you put 20 grand into the property, you got it for 70, you put say you put 30 into it, right? So you're all into the property for $100,000. You turn around and sell it for $150. You just made $50,000, all because you had $20,000 sitting in the bank. That's how you use business credit. That's how you use leverage to be able to make money on somebody else's money. The business credit at the end of the day is a bank's money, and you're leveraging the bank's money in order to be able to create more capital. Now let's do some math. Let's say you made $50,000 in profit on one house. How many times do you need to do that in order to create $1 million in revenue? 20 flips. 20 flips, 50 times 20 is $1 million. So that's just one way, actively creating income through step number one. And then step number two, using business credit so that you don't have to come out of your own pocket to create that income. All right, so let's move into step number three. All right, now step number three is mandatory, bare minimum. What I need you to do is, as you make money, take some of that money and put together a slush fund in the amount of 6 months worth of living expenses. So let's just say right now you're living on $3,000 a month. What's 6 times 3? 6 months worth of living expenses will give you $18,000. Okay? If you're living on $7,000 a month, 6 times 7 is $42,000. You get the point. The whole point is you need to have at least 6 months worth of living expenses put away just to start. And as you continue to make money, increase that number. Let's say you got a family to take care of. Let's say that you're more comfortable having a year's worth of expenses put away. Over time, you start with the 6 months and then you build up to a year. Maybe you're good with 2 years worth of living expenses put away. I would cap it at 2 years personally, because I don't think you need that much money in the bank. But the whole point is you want to have a slush fund of at least 6 months worth of living expenses in case things go wrong. You might get hurt. You might not be able to work for 6 months, and you'll have that comfort knowing that you have that additional capital put away. And if you have that capital, it'll allow you to think clearer as you move forward in building up your business. So step number one, create an active income. Step number two, build business credit under your business in order to generate more active income. Step number three, take the profits from the money that you create actively in order to put together a 6 month slush fund, bare minimum. All right, so let's move into step number four. All right, so step number four is something that I think is really gonna help a lot of you. Number one, it'll help increase your credit. Number two, it's gonna help you breathe a little bit better. When you're building a business, businesses can suck you dry, period, right? You need to be liquid in a business. And because of that, you don't wanna have a lot of debt. So step number four, as you're making money and you finally got that slush fund put away, right? You finally got that emergency money put away in case something happens. You got 6 months bare minimum put away. What you want to do after you got the 6 months worth of living expenses put away is you want to simply pay off all your debt, bad debt. So you want to pay your credit cards off, any type of debt that you might have. You definitely want to pay that off as quickly as possible. And the way to do that is to simply get a check, take a portion of your check. Let's just say that you wholesale a house and you make $10,000 on a house. You might take $2,000 of that 10 and pay off some of your debt. And you just keep rinsing and repeating that process until you got all of your debt paid off. But step number four is really important to be able to live free, to be able to think clearer, to be able to really advance in business in general, is to have zero bad debt. All right, so let's just recap what we've gone over so far. Step number one is to go out and create active income. Step number two is to go ahead and build up business credit to create even more active income. Step number three is to put an emergency fund away. Step number four is to use the active income after you've already put the emergency fund away to pay off all of your bad debt. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to have your mortgage paid off, because you can get tax benefits from your mortgage, for example, right? So there's certain things that you might need some debt on. Houses, for example, leveraging real estate, leveraging the banks to be able to buy more real estate. You don't want to pay that debt off because you get tax benefits from that. But there's really no benefit in having high interest credit cards or having any credit debt at any point in time unless you're using it to make more money. So pay off all your debt as quickly as possible once you have your slush fund put away. Now, before we move into step number five, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already, and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the first 4 steps before we jump into step number 5, where I think this is probably one of the most important and easy ways to really catapult your success relatively quickly. All right, now step number 5 is something that I took a long time to start implementing myself. It wasn't until, I've been in business for 20 years. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I really started thinking this way. And it was mainly because I was more into active income, actively creating income. And one thing about active income that I really want you guys to understand is you're only as good as your last deal. What does that mean, right? So with active income, if let's say, for example, I'm wholesaling houses. With active income, if I make $20,000 on a wholesale deal, I gotta go out and reproduce the same effort to be able to get the same $20,000 over and over and over again. If I stop working, then the money stops, right? So active income is great to build up money. The problem that I see with most people is they take the active income and they create a lifestyle off of active income. And that's the fastest way to go broke and the fastest way to burn yourself out relatively quickly. I'm just being honest, right? I've done it twice, okay? So if you want to work for the rest of your life, I don't care if you're making $1 million a year. If you're spending $1 million, guess what? You're absolutely broke. But if you use the active income to create passive income and compounding passive income, that's the key word, that's how you're going to be able to change your life, all right? Active income is great. You can make $1 million a year wholesaling. You can make $10 million a year wholesaling real estate. But if you're not using that income to build passive income, then you're always going to be broke, especially if you're living a lifestyle that is going to spend up all of that money. All right. So step number 5 is to take your active income and invest it into cash flowing assets that will provide you with true passive income. And what that's going to allow you to do is create an income that you don't have to work for. And then once you create that income, you build it up to a certain level, then you can literally live off of that income. So you're making money without ever working or putting a little bit of time, a little bit of effort into getting the monies. That's why you have some things like rental real estate, which can be passively active, right? So it's never 100% passive. There's only one that is close to 100% passive, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But you want to take your active income and instead of living off of the active income, take maybe 20%, 25% of your active income and put it into passive income investments. All right. So an example of that would be buying rental real estate, right? So you might have the bird strategy going on where, that could kind of operate itself if you do it the right way with the $20,000 in seed money, as I mentioned, through business credit. You can literally use your seed money to grow your rental portfolio and live off the rent money. All right. So you only need the seed money one time and you can keep recycling the same seed money over and over and over again. In fact, I got a video on YouTube on how to become a multi-millionaire through real estate, and I'll be sure to link that video up at the top for you instead. Another thing that again, just a handful of years ago, not even, is I started buying up digital assets like crypto. I have a very small amount in crypto because year over year, if you look at Bitcoin back in, let's say 2016, when I started buying it, I was buying it for less than $1,000 compared to Bitcoin today, where it's, $50,000 or more. You'll see that year over year, you're getting a high level of return. But I'm not an advocate. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and invest your money in a crypto because most people emotionally wouldn't be able to handle that type of investment, right? So what else is out there where you can get a consistent level of interest and it compounds year over year? Well, Bitcoin is really volatile, very risky, but you have the S&P 500, right? So in addition to your rental real estate, where you can get compounding revenue through cash flow by getting more and more rental properties and by buying multi-unit real estate, you can also invest some money into the S&P 500 where, say, for example, you put $10,000 into it and then you contribute $100 a month to it. By the end of the year, you'll have $11,200. But you not only get the interest on the $10,000, you also get interest on the compounding money that's going into the account. What I'm going to do is link a calculator for you, a compound interest calculator for you below so you can play around with the numbers to see how this actually works in real time. But to me, compounding interest is one of the best ways to secure finances for the future. So not only do you want to be in rental real estate, where you can get passive income through that, but you also want to invest your money safely by putting it into the stock market. And just to put that into perspective, the S&P 500 on average will provide you with about a 10% return on your investment that's in the account. So again, $10,000 will turn into $11,000 on its own after 1 year. That's without a contribution. But if you add monthly money into it, it's going to continue to accumulate over time and compound on top of it. Again, check that calculator out that I put in the description box of this video so you can see how compounding interest will work for you. But the key is how much money you keep, not how much money you spend, right? I'd rather be rich than look rich. So rather than working actively, wholesaling houses, then going out and getting the nice car, nice houses, and nice things that you want, use your passive income to buy those things. So even when you spend the money, you'll still have more money coming in, whether you work or not. Passively build up your future, and you will go from broke to being a millionaire. If you want free stock, you want to get started building up that account in the S&P 500, check out Webull or Robinhood by visiting the links in the description box below. When you use those links, you'll get free stock to get started with. Then you can fund your account with whatever you want to get started with. I hope that will help you out, at least start changing the trajectory of your future. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell. And if you like this video, go ahead and check this video out that just popped up on the screen. It will definitely help you to get on the right path to becoming a multi-millionaire real estate investor. I'll see you guys on that one. Peace.